There's two concepts here that are very important. One is the question of willing something to happen. All right. So what they think of when they think of having faith is that, all right, on August the 13th, if there really is a God, or if this really works, then I will get the phone call that will give me the biggest break of my life on August the 13th, and that's the way it's going to be. Or maybe even in just some small way, like on September 15th, I will get rid of this wart that's on my nose, or something. So it's like willing things to happen in the universe. That will lead you to frustration and disbelief and an absence of faith, and the awakened life, or looking at life from the enlightened perspective that I'm talking about and discovering this inner universe, will always be like just outside of your grasp if you're testing God or testing the universe in some way. So that's like willing things to happen. Just through the power of my will, I can make it happen. The second principle here is what I call being willing. In this case, it's different than willing something to be. This is called being willing for it to be. And that is a whole new way of testing the universe. It isn't making a demand. It isn't, if I can get this bird to land over here on this branch, and that's going to be the signal that I'm looking for. It isn't anything like that, because the universe doesn't work that way. And it is like, I am now going to be willing to allow what it is that I want to happen. I'm going to be willing. I'm not going to demand anything. I'm not going to ask anything special for it to happen. I'm just going to be willing. Now, I'll give you a really bizarre example of this. I was meditating on Maui this past summer. On a couple of occasions, there would be peacocks which would walk through the grounds in this particular place where I was meditating. I can remember trying to get them to come to me. Like, oh yeah, let me see if I can make this peacock walk over to me. It just ignored me, like it was maybe 30 feet away. And then when I stopped that, stopped demanding anything, stopped trying to prove anything, and I just really, you must emit some kind of a different energy or a different feeling or whatever, because when I did that, almost every morning after doing that, the peacocks would come over and literally stand right next to me where I could touch them. And they usually will stay further. In fact, I had grass in my hand one time and came over and literally ate the grass right out of my hand. And it would happen morning after morning when I was willing. If you're attempting to will something and demand something and prove something, I find that that very demand is a judgment, and it's a doubt. And that doubt itself interferes with the natural and perfect way the universe is unfolding, and you in it. Whereas if you stop the demand, that is, stop the doubt, and just allow yourself to be, I'm saying to you, instead of willing it to happen in your mind, be willing to allow it to happen. Picture whatever it is that you want to picture for yourself, and don't make any demands on it. And understand, if you understand the new physics, the quantum physics, that in quantum physics, Fritjof Capra and Gary Zukav, both of them talk about this in their books, The Tao of Physics and The Dancing Wooly Masters and The Seed of the Soul, that when you observe an object in the universe, whatever it is, even a stone, that the actual observation of the object itself has an impact on it. Just the observation of it. Your presence in and around any object in the universe at the tiniest, most subatomic level that you can get at, they're discovering that just your presence of observing something has an effect on it. So if you are observing something with a demand, and you can come up from the quantum level through the subatomic, subatomic to subatomic to atomic to the physical world that you experience, understand that your demand or your observation of or your judgment of or your insistence upon is enough to keep it from happening and allowing it to unfold in its natural perfection. Whereas your willingness, that's the difference between faith and a demand. Faith is like, I go with it. I know. And then I start seeing miracles around me all the time. Whereas the doubting Thomas, or the person who's trying to test it all the time, will find that their very testing of this kind of phenomenon will in itself emit enough doubtful energy to keep it from working for you in your life.